set.
Up they go. Adaejah Hodge steps away brilliantly for the British Virgin Islands. The Jamaicans trying to go and chase. Duffrey behind her and Terry Long. Hodge with the advantage. Duffrey on her inside chasing. Adaejah Hodge steps away from the field once more. The 100 champion, the long jump champion, becomes the 200 champion. The record safe, but the triple is complete. This outstanding young athlete who has taken the CARIFTA Games by storm. And if you did not know her before these games, then you know her now. Mark the name, Adaejah Hodge, 2342, your 200 champion, your triple gold medalist.
Adaejah Hodge, the Austin Sealy Award winner for the 49th staging of the CARIFTA Games, the 16-year-old British Virgin Islands athlete announced herself to the region in emphatic fashion by winning the 100 metres in 11.29, just 200ths of a second off Brianna Williams' record of 11.27. She won the long jump in a dramatic fashion with a wind-aided last round leap of 6.20 metres. And of course, she captured the 200 metres, which you just saw, 23.42 into a negative 3.0 metres per second wind. Hubert and Leighton still with us as we zone in on Hodge and some of the other super performances from the non-Jamaican athletes in Kingston. But let me start with Leighton first, because Leighton, I was with you on Saturday morning when we saw Adaejah running the heats, and in a minus 3.2 metre per second wind clocked 11.54 or something, and you know, we said, what's happening here? This girl already looks a winner.
Fire.
Yeah, we called it because you saw how easily she ran at 11.54. And the way she ran it, you didn't even realize that the wind was a negative 3.2 wind. So you knew something was special was coming, especially for me after speaking with Steve Augustine a couple of weeks into March. I think it was early March when we had a discussion about his CARIFTA team coming, and he was telling me that they were not coming to Jamaica to just make up numbers. They were coming to win medals. And, you know, when you saw the team, of course, remember they started out the day with a gold medal in the shot put, and then unleashed Adaejah Hodge on us. You know, it was her sprint performances were unparalleled with what we saw from Brianna Williams in 2018 and 2019, winning the 100 and the 200. The times were similar too, but then she adds that element with a long jump, coming out of the 200 meters, which caused some controversy, you know, because she left the lineup and then hit 6 meters 20. I mean, sealed that victory and came back to run 23.7, I think it was in the semifinals. So you knew this girl was special from the very first time we saw her, and she clearly delivered, and of course was rightfully adjudged the Austin Sealy Award winner.
Yeah, so Hubert, Leighton felt as if, you know, well deserved. She deserved that award. Any other athlete you would have given it to, or do you also say well deserved?
I think she is the best person for the award. On the boys' side, Keyshawn Strong, the Bahamas, 79.89, world leader. He was a world leader before, extended his lead. If there was anyone else, it would have been him early Saturday morning. If I were Hodge's camp, I might have thought about not doing the long jump. I think there's a 23.2 in her legs right now. For her to do what she did, long jump, go across to the 200, journey back to the long jump, run the 200, and then come back and win. It's amazing. I think she could have run faster. She loved the long jump. I think she has Dwight Phillips in her corner as
one of her coaches,
as a coach from a world and Olympic champion in the long jump. She loved the long jump, but in that tight schedule, I'd have gone 1-2 and see what's in those legs at 200. Maybe she'd have gone there. Anisha McLaughlin's record, 23.02.
Well, Hubert, consider this: the wind in the 200-meter finals minus 3. You know? So that 23.42 could have been easily 23.1 or 23.0. So she's already had those times in her legs. You know, so she's a special talent.
You have to lay it down, Leighton. You don't want to miss an opportunity. She's 16. Yeah. That means she's 17 next year. Can't come back in this age group next year. But, you know, and you can't give people free keys to the future. But she's on the verge of doing good stuff in the under 20 category. Very impressive.
I wanted to make the point as well that Steve Augustine, who is the current president of the British Virgin Islands Track and Field Association, it's an association that has been doing some really good work now for decades. just a lot of it coming to fruition, because we know that Kyron McMaster is one of the best 400-meter hurdlers in the world at the moment from the BVI. Chantal Malone internationally has shown herself as a top-class jumper as well, long jumper as well.
Yeah.
So we are seeing talent emerging out of this small island with just over 30,000 a 30,000 population, which speaks to the kind of talent that we have right here in the Caribbean, and the ability that this region has to produce world beaters from pretty much anywhere in the region.
I think the BVI have found that they have a comparative advantage, inspired by their 400-meter hurdler. He's fantastic, and I think they've found a bunch of children inspired by the hurdler who feel that if he can do it, then they can. And that has a rolling, mushrooming effect on the nation. Very impressive BVI.
And also, remember the impact of Doug Samuels, Lance, who died in 2018 in that unfortunate situation that forced Kyron to move to Clemson to train with Lennox Graham.
Yes.
And there are a couple of things as well that factor that I think when you look at the BVI, it's a lot like some of the parishes here that produce the likes of Usain Bolt and Veronica Campbell-Brown. Very hill terrain, where, Chantal Malone tells you that everywhere in the country is a hill. So, that helps to develop the body from a very young age as well. And also the factor that they've also brought over a couple of coaches from Jamaica who are helping with their program over there as well, which, so the coalescing of all of those factors, I think, is beginning to manifest in what we're seeing in terms of, the Kyron McMasters and, of course, the Chantal Malones, and, of course, now young Adaejah Hodge, who is clearly, all things being equal, will be one for the future.
Yeah, and good to see Austin Seeley actually presenting the award to Adaejah Hodge.
Thinking the same thing.
Yeah, a veteran, former president of the Barbados
and
Olympic Association as well. Yeah, and one of the founding members of the CARIFTA Games. 72. Good to see Austin Seeley in Kingston presenting this award. There he is talking to Adaejah Hodge. But Adaejah propelled the British Virgin Islands to 4 gold medals. And there was Saviana Joseph. She won the Javelin earlier on in the morning. So that took care of the gold medals that they had. And only Jamaica won more gold medals than the British Virgin Islands, because the Bahamas were second, but they actually won 4 as well. It's just that they won more silver and bronze medals. So no praise is too high for what the BVI delivered here. Keyshawn Strawn, Hubert, you mentioned earlier, based on his javelin world-leading and record effort in the morning Saturday, windy conditions, very, very hot and tough conditions, could have been a candidate for the Austin Seeley Award based on what he achieved. He was another standout performer, but pretty much delivering what was expected, because he was already the world leader going in.
Yeah, but 80 meters is far.
Yes.
He's only 11 centimeters off that. Spoke to him, says his target is 85 meters. Looked it up. That's the World Senior Championship qualifying standard. That's where he's looking to for 2022. He's looking to the World Juniors, but he's looking to being in the World Championship with his idol and friend, Anderson Peters. And so Walcott sets the pace. Peters models Walcott, admires him, and now Keyshawn Strawn is admiring Anderson and maybe standing up with them, shoulder to shoulder, in the World Championships, 3 Caribbean javelin giants side by side.
And you notice a pattern, because what I notice is, like, once they have an idol that they look up to, they have those conversations, they are motivated, and they have something to work towards.
Yeah, good point there, Mariah. And Hubert just mentioned Keyshawn Walcott. Keyshawn Walcott won the World Junior title in 2012 in Barcelona, was it?
London. Barcelona 2012 World Juniors.
World Juniors.
And kept on going.
And 2 months after that, he was the Olympic champion. So maybe it is that Keyshawn Strawn is looking at the trajectory of how Keyshawn Walcott, as shocking as it was able to transfer from a World Junior champion, and months after becoming a stunning upset winner of the gold medal at the Olympic Games, he's probably saying to himself that the World Championship podium is not necessarily beyond him if he puts his heart and soul into it.
And because our numbers are small, you look outside your national fence to see the Caribbean person who's led the way. So Walcott inspires Anderson, Peters, and Peters inspires Strong.
Yeah. Leighton, I heard you. Yeah?
I was going to mention how athletes from even different countries, because when Adaejah Hodge came and met with Shelley and Fraser Price, I was told that Shelley was one of her biggest idols because Shelley and others have blazed the trail. I mean, Shelley is the latest iteration, but has blazed the trail for athletes like Adaejah Shaw, because they see people create these opportunities and open these doors for them, and they know what's possible given once they put the work in. And I think when you look at what's happening across the board, regardless of what country the talent comes from, it tends to inspire others across the region, because we all are from similar backgrounds here in the Caribbean. And once one person is able to make that breakthrough, it then creates an opportunity for others to think that the same is possible for them as well. Because I remember when she met Shelley, she was like over the moon, and Shelley signed her spikes, and she was so happy just to be able to interact in that space with her. And I know, given what we saw from her on the weekend, that meeting with Shelley and Fraser Price obviously will inspire her on to greater things as well.
Yeah, and we saw so many athletes crowding around Usain Bolt on Saturday evening when he was there as well. So a lot of these athletes came in contact with Usain Bolt. No telling how inspiring that might be. Dwayne Fleming, Leighton, won the under-17 boys 100, not since Daniel Bailey in 2004 and 2005 have we seen an Antiguan boy win a gold medal in the 100 meters at the CARIFTA Games. Fleming flew out of the starting blocks, out of lane 2 I think he was in, and just got away from everyone else. And what a fabulous run that was.
What was impressive, Lance, is that he got the flyer, yes, but he maintained his composure long enough to hold off the field, because he easily could have panicked. Because when the Jamaicans closed that gap, and I'm sure he probably felt that pressure and probably saw something on the corner of his eye, but he didn't break form. He held his nerve and got to the line first. And it was a very impressive performance. I'm sure he stunned himself on that occasion, because, with what was happening around him before, with what the Jamaicans were doing on the track and in the field, getting away, I'm sure somewhere in the back of his mind, he's thinking, will I get caught? Will I get caught? Will I get caught? I had a similar feeling way back in high school, the first time I ran at Knox, where I ran across a bunch of guys who had gone to champs the year before, and running in a race with all of them, waiting to be passed, and it never happened. But I think it's a similar situation here with young Fleming. And I just saw the field was closing, but he maintained important things, like he maintained his composure. And we look at his form was near perfect near the end. A little tight, but understandably so. But he held it long enough to get to that line first.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite runs that we saw on Saturday, Leighton. And Hubert, we saw him attempting to do the double. He led for a long way in the 200 meters, but was caught down the home stretch.
Yeah, long race for him, the 200. But a country with a hero, Daniel Bailey, twice world champ finalist, among the world's best sprinters at his peak. And therefore, the young man has an Antigua Barbudan sprinter of recent memory, when he's growing up, to watch in the full red take on the world's best, run sub-10s like it's rain. And so he knows that there's someone in his country's history who did it. And so again, you have all this spreading of progress across the Caribbean, giving youngsters a chance to make progress.
Yeah, and we're quick up on time. We're running out of time, but we need a quick word on Michelle Smith. Maybe I'll give Leighton the first.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
I had her down to mention.
Okay,
this girl is abnormal. She wins the 400-meter hurdles. She's second in the 110, the 100-meter hurdles, and then runs an 800, where I thought her legs were going to go completely under her from 600 meters. She manages to hold on and drags those legs across the line. It was, for me, if on pure emotion whatsoever, if Adaejah Hodge didn't get the award, I would have given it to this girl. Because nobody saw her coming, and so you didn't have a way to see or have an idea of what she was capable of. But 3 very tough events. The 100-meter hurdles, the 400-meter hurdles, and of course the 800 that she won going away.
Yes.
Quite impressive indeed. I'm sure the USVI is quite proud. 2 gold and a silver.
Yeah, that's a pretty unorthodox combination there, Hubert, as well.
And she takes them on. 61 seconds for the 800 meters. No sit and kick foolishness. If you want to get the gold medal, you've got to feel pain.
Yeah.
She's making it very honest. If you want to wait for a sprint in front of the grandstand, she's got you covered. She's gone. Very impressive. And again, gold, gold, silver. So you have to put her in that group with Strawn, of those people who had Hodge not done the triple or failed doing it, could have been in the conversation.
Yeah, viewing the coverage, Hubert and Leighton, we heard constant reference to the World Juniors, or no, they call it the World Under-20 Championship in Cali, Colombia. How much of what we have seen here this past weekend in Kingston can we digest and think that Cali, Colombia is going to be big for some of these athletes?
I do think that the Caribbean will be well represented. I mean, if Hodge goes there with the same kind of preparation that she came into these games with, it's going to be war. And of course, with Brianna Liston, you have to believe that 22 low is going to be possible for her by August. You have to think that the Clayton twins were ready to approach 11 seconds flat by that time. And of course, Brian Lavelle and, Rashawn Clark. I'm thinking that we will see very solid performances from our Caribbean athletes at the World in Cali, Colombia in August, because I think what we saw at the CARIFTA Games is just a taste, I believe, of what is to come this year.
And the great thing about CARIFTA, it gives the youngsters a first chance to do overseas travel, except the hosts. And so they've gotten that back. Some haven't done anything since 2019. You heard all the last year seniors enjoying their wins at CARIFTA because this is their last year as a junior. So it's a dress rehearsal that they've gotten, traveling, different food, different place, different bed to sleep in, different track, slightly different sound to the officials, and that puts them in good stead for meets further in the summer, including the World Juniors.
Hubert Lawrence and Leighton Levy, thanks for joining us here on the SportsMax Zone as we recap what happened at the CARIFTA Games, the 49th staging of it this past weekend in Kingston, Jamaica. Thanks, man.
Always a pleasure, guys. Mario, sorry about the weekend, but, when you're red, you're just red.
I actually told you this would happen. You were the one doubting your own team.
Anyway, there's a football segment coming up, and Leighton won't be a part of it. It's not really a segment, but it's just a recap of some important happenings earlier on today. We have two Liverpool men here, Hubert Lawrence and Leighton Levy. But we are going to break, and Mariah Ramharak will be up next with the second set of zone updates.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.